Yeah. So as discussed, this lesson will be a pure revision on important stuff that has been taught from A1 throughout to A2. So I asked you guys to type in the group a particular topics or grammar rules you have problems with, but none of you. And a few did it though. Okay, so I'll start with sentence structure. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So just like in English, we have four sentence structures. So we have how many type of question, how many types of sentence do we have in English? Um, so we have W questions. So we have one W question, W questions and sentences. Statements.
Okay.
Commands. Yes. Yes or no questions. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so they are this we have the same sentence structures in German. Okay, so with statements, sentences. Okay, they follow the same rules in English. So in English, you have subjects, verb, plus objects. And then others. Okay. Yeah. So an example of a statement sentence would be I like would be very much. Okay. So we have our subjects, our verb in blue, objects in blue. The others could be adjectives, prepositions, and uh, marked as brown. Yeah. So here we have our subjects. Now,
Okay.
for the direct objects, then very much as the others. Okay. Yes, so in German, issues. Yes, your subject will come. So I is ish in German. Then mark for person. Okay, we are using mögen, the verb mögen to like because we are talking about liking and now. Okay, not an activity. We use again for activity. So ich mag. Then Kofi will come, the direct object. Then very much as the others. But ich mag Kofi sehr. Okay. In English, you say very much, but in German, there's no need for you to say sehr viel. Okay. Yes, sehr. Okay. Yeah, klar. So that's with statement sentence. But with statement sentence, the structure, like I said, is the same in English, only for the main clause. Okay, so when you have longer sentences in English, um we describe them as a main clause and what is subordinate clause. Okay, that's when you have two sentences. Okay, and they are joined together. So the main the with say statement sentence, we have the same structure in English, except with the Nebensatz, which is the subordinate clause. Okay, with subordinate clause is different from English. Okay, that's the only difference between German and English with statement sentences. Okay, because yeah. Actually, so regardless, whichever you start the sentence in the main clause, the verb always has to be what in the second position. Okay, main clause. Okay, but with the subordinate clause, that's where everything changes. Okay, okay, So an example with this shows that for I don't know, say, I believe I believe that's no this I believe anyways I believe that he will come tomorrow. Okay. So to German will be
Ich glaube, dass er morgen kommt.
so in the main clause now the subject just like the English, the verb blau, okay. There are no others in the main clause, okay. But in the subordinate clause, we have our subjects, but the helping verb comes followed by the main verb before the others, okay. But in German, the subordinate clause, the subject comes, the others follow, then the verb goes to the end of the sentence. Okay. And yeah, basically that's with statement sentences. Okay, so like before when you're forming any sentence, like any state when you're making any statement sentence, that's like most of the time that's the sentence we make are statement sentences. Oh, he's coming. I don't know what he said. Like, yeah. So like most of the time, the sentence we use in conversation, we are always making statements like statements. Okay. Yeah. So in German, just remember that in the main clause, okay, we have main clause and subordinate clause. That's when the subordinate clause, we get a main clause and a subordinate clause when the subordinate clause, so to indicate that the subordinate, without the subordinate clause, like the main clause, main clause can stand on their own, but subordinate clause can't stand on their own. So you need the main clause to understand the subordinate clause. Okay, so like the subordinate relies on the main clause. Okay, so like you can't actually do away with one. Okay, but in simple sentences, like making simple statements, then you don't need any subordinate clause. But then if you have to make sentences where you need enabling acts like enabling subordinate clause and the main clause, then remember that in the statement sentences with when it's about statements, the main clause is the subject verb object, just like in English, SVO. But in the subordinate clause, the subjects will come, the objects will come, the others will follow. Then the main verb goes to the end of the sentence. Okay, that's with subordinate clause in German. That's the only difference. Okay, klar. Yeah,
Yeah, but Rabbi, in
yeah,
this two clauses, no, can you
yeah,
start with it tomorrow or you can't?
yeah. You see German has this flexibility, guys. You know it already. So German, so with statements, so long as the verb stays in the second position, you can interchange the position of the position of the subject and the verb, or you can start the sentence with adverbs, like whichever way that you want. But with the subordinate clause, that's what is fixed. You have to go by this the subject, the direct objects. Then if they are this, they will come. Then the main verb will go to the end of the sentence. That's what I'm saying. So let's say a sentence would be like a long sentence. Give me any sentence.
I think you
That's
can
what
use the I believe that. So you can do I believe that he is coming tomorrow
and
in the
then,
afternoon.
yeah,
So,
I get you. But
and then no.
no, I need a sentence that contains an adverb or like a direct object. Like there's subject that contains everything. Um,
Do you want to
tomorrow.
use the that's or another
No,
conjunction?
any conjunction, so long as that's the with that conjunction, you have to shift the verb to this end of the sentence. So, um, or buying a new fridge tomorrow because the old one. I've introduced something over here. Yeah, because the old one. It was so. Because yeah. So I'm buying a new fridge tomorrow because my father is picking up the old one next week because tomorrow will make it redundant. Mistake. Yeah. Clear? Yeah. So in this sentence, we have our subjects, right? Our subject is I. Our verb, our helping verb is then the main verb is what's buying. Our direct object, what are we buying? We are buying a new fridge, okay? So that will be what? Green. The under green. Yeah. And buying a new fridge, Then we have our what? Adverbial place of time, which is others. Okay. Then because my father is picking up, okay. So new sentence because we have we enabling that we always have what a new subject, okay. Enabling that, okay. It means like main we have main clause and subordinate clause, okay. So we get a main clause and subordinate clause when like in both sentences they are different subjects, okay. Yeah. So my father, right? My father here is the subject, right?
Yeah.
Order. Yeah. Father. Then it's speaking up is the verb here. The old one, the direct object. So the old one is reflecting us back to the fridge, which is what the direct object. Then next week here, sort of their place of time, which is others. Yeah. So who would like to form the sentence, like translate this sentence to German? Hallo. Ich
Ich
kaufe.
kaufe
Jesus.
Mhm.
einen
Mhm.
Neuen Kühlschrank.
Einen Kühlschrank, noch Kühlschrank. Kühl, okay? K-U Umlaut.
Kühlschrank.
Kühlschrank. Mhm.
I have to spell that. I can't. Yeah. I see. Okay. But can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
You forgot
Let
till
me
tomorrow.
continue.
You forgot till tomorrow.
Ah, yeah. Okay, so I can start with tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, you got
But I can bring it at the end, right?
yeah.
Um,
If you are to if you are
Oh,
to start the sentence with the ish, then the time will come before what the direct objects. Because in German we say time is what essential. We always want to know the
okay.
time you are doing something before even the thing that's like the objects, like the activity you are doing. Okay, we want to know the time. Time is very important to Germans. Okay.
So, okay.
So,
I'll
so
start with the Morgen.
yeah,
Okay.
klar.
Morgen
Morgen.
kaufe ich
Mhm.
einen neuen Kühlschrank.
Morgen kaufe ich einen neuen Kühlschrank.
Weil
Hey, sorry, I'm saying, asante phone call no R no L and yet. This German word, German name, is it the R L L like hey, like Vicky go check his origin. It's from Asante. Yes, yeah. So Morgen kaufe ich einen neuen Kühlschrank. Mhm.
weil
Mhm.
mein Vater
Mhm.
mm, next week. Nächste Woche
after page. Okay, next one.
den Alten abholen or abholt.
It's not all. Like there's only one possible answer. So it's not all.
Yeah, that's the answer.
So which one is those?
Nächste Woche den Alten abholt. No, when I said abholen, that's when I realized there wasn't
Yeah.
any modal verb here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. So your sentence is like grammatically correct, okay? Yeah. So while my father, where is it? While my father nächste Woche den Alten abholt. Okay. But like I was smiling because you were able to say den Alten without adding the Q shrunk. It's like that's crafts. That's like C1 style. Because because any beginner then Alten Q shrunk. Okay, so like that's crafts. So like in English you'd be like do you have a phone? I have one. Okay, so you'd be like, oh, I also have one phone, or like I have so you see so it shall be I handy. Me too, I want to say oh, I have one. There'll be it shall be eins because that's handy. So it'd be at EINS. Okay, so like maybe I have an umbrella. I want to say I also have one. It shall be einen. Okay, yeah, so like that's like some perfect a style. Like that's nice. So you see here, so we in the first sentence, like in the main clause, we're able to like change the sub because we said the rule state that in statement sentences, the most important thing is that the verb, the main verb of the sentence, stays in the what second position. You can't do anything about that. Good trial, you're committing sin against all Germans. Okay, yeah. So always the main verb have to stay what's in the second position. Okay, yeah, clear. So the rest is up to you. Whether you start the sentence with what an adverb, the direct object, or the subject, nobody cares. But another important thing is that the subject always the verb always go with what's the subject. So when you start the sentence with an object, an adverbial, any adverb, remember that right after the verb, the subject must come. Okay. So although it's flexible, you can start the sentence with whatever word you want to start with, but then know that the verb is stuck at the second position. Plus, right after the verb, we need to know what the subjects. Clear?
Yeah.
Sir.
But you see, in the Nebensatz, okay, in the Nebensatz, okay, here our subject fixed. You can't say, weil nächste Woche mein Vater den Alten abholt. Vocal like by expression it's right, like by speaking it's right, okay. No, like although it's not grammatically correct because it's not following the rule, but then it's common by speaking, people do that. But then like when you are writing, okay, but like guys, just learning them, let's learn the right way. Val mein Vater. So with the subordinate clause, we go back to our subject verb, sorry, our subject object verb, okay. Subject object verb is fixed. You can't say val nächste Woche. Now this the flexibility in the neighbor in the main clause is not the same in what subordinate clause. Okay, yeah. So if you like auswendigly, like by heart, you're able to make this sentence on your own, then like you shouldn't have any problem with A1. Basically with the other levels too. Because the other levels, you make all these and you make such sentences, just that you'll be adding different like synonyms, adverbs. Yeah. Okay. So the sentence structure is very important. Okay. Once you get a sentence structure, you always know when to put what things. That's why I always say that even try to make longer sentences, even when you don't know the German word for the um, you know the German word for the word that maybe you got here. I am buying a new fridge. You don't know a new fridge, like you don't know the German word for fridge. Just remember, just replace it by the English word. Okay,
Okay.
just replace it by so ich kaufe morgen a fridge. Okay, in your timer, then later you check it, you check the word for, so when you realize that it's masculine, it's neuter, then you have to know that no, okay, so in which case is that if it's the direct object, then you know that it's accusative. If the indirect object, then you know according to its gender to like decline it. Okay, yeah, that's how you learn. All right, so that's with statement sentence. Um, any question? Any question? Just prepare. I'm going to give you a simple exercise, simple one. Okay, so the first sentence, yeah, we would like to try.
I think that learning German
I think
is
that
fun.
learning German is fun when you practice regularly. Okay, so to practice
It's think that
is üben. Okay,
good.
üben is umlauts. Okay, that's where we have Übung. Übung means exercise or practice. Okay.
Robbie, the regularly,
Yeah.
can you use oft or the other word for
Yeah.
oft can
Yeah. So like
Um,
so like not necessarily that you have to know regularly in German. There are other synonyms often. Okay. Then with
Yeah.
even with often, I gave you one
Häufig.
häufig, danke.
Heufisch,
Häufig. Ja,
Always yeah. Übung.
regelmäßig. Ja, da.
But regularly is regelmäßig. We said regelmäßig mit der message. Okay. Yeah, so we'll try. Let's go.
I think that ich denke, dass
Mhm.
learning German, I think that learning German is fun.
Okay. Yeah. But like if you were to say this sentence, how would you construct it? Like it's not necessary for you to use like maybe learning German. So like how will you try? Like
Okay, so the verb here is learning, so I'll take it to the past. But who can say verb what
Mhm.
original?
Yeah, so learning German is Deutsch lernen. So ich glaube, das Deutsch lernen. Und when we are saying
Yeah,
maybe something is fun, we say, yeah, super. Spaß machen is
yeah.
yeah, Spaß
But
machen.
also ich denke, dass Deutsch, no, ich denke, dass Deutsch lernen,
Mhm.
oder auch nicht wie Deutsch
Yeah,
lernen, ja, Deutsch
absolutely.
lernen.
Mhm.
But when we to meet an house, oder which one? Oder wann?
No,
Or
van is
if.
when you,
Sometimes
if is then,
when
van is when we're asking of like asking time itself, or when someone is coming is when we use van. Okay, but when we are talking about if, it's when. Okay,
yeah, if
so ich denke, das Deutsch lernen. So direct object is Spaß. Okay, Spaß is now der Spaß. Okay, Spaß.
stars, yeah.
Spaß macht. Mhm.
Mark Mark
Mhm. Mhm.
wenn man oder wenn die oder ja, wenn
About
man auf üben oder
übt. You have to conjugate according to money.
ja, übt, ja, genau.
That's why schwierig. Ja, klar.
Übt, That's an abbreviation. Okay, class abbreviation. That's the word. Wow.
Okay, this one there. This one is easy.
Mm. Think of that.
Number 2. Yeah. I'll call you as soon as I arrive home. We will get there. Like that's not the main focus today. We are focused.
I arrive home. If
you might not shoot someone else. Someone should fly. Someone else. You know, calling. You know, arrive. So like, oh, sure.
As soon as.
Yeah. So bad. As soon as. So bad itself is conjunction. As soon as it's a conjunction. So bad. Or so bad v English as soon as possible. So bad. But so bad, yeah. So bad. So he just uses like that. Just from the sentence, let's go. I'll call you.
Edgeville, dish and roofing. Yeah, my screen needs to come. Edgeville, dish and roofing. You said that she used it as das.
Yeah, like so bad is so bad.
So bad. Oh, okay. So bad ish.
Yeah. But now one word.
Is this to house?
Yeah.
Home. House.
Yeah, so bad motors.
So bad ish. So house.
So house. And yes. So this one, a minute. So I want to ask a question here. Uncommon. Once say you realize it's this thing. It has a prefix that it's separable.
Look,
so this one, are we going to separate it or we will just
like you did here? This one you uphold it's separable, but at the end of the
yeah. Uncommon. Yeah.
But because going towards home, we say nakauza.
Okay. This thing.
Uncommon.
And today I've mentioned housel.
The others, it's other help as well.
It's
done down. That's done down in those contents a lot.
But the B1. The B1. The B1. I'm just thinking about conjunction. Okay, conjunction. Just that each conjunction has not all conjunctions are used like the das, when, so, bad. Okay, some conjunctions follow the normal order in the main clause. So after the conjunction, you go back to what the subjects. Okay, then the verb will come. Okay, so like it depends. Example is Dane. Dane is also because it's a conjunction, but then when you use Dane, you have to say ish come Makause and so like so it depends on the so always you just have to know that this conjunction requires like needs you to put the verb to the end of the sentence, or like it follows the normal, but like with the conjunctions about 80% of them, you have to push the verb to the end of the sentence. Or let's say 90% of them. Okay. Listen, Nakauza uncommon, Suhauza uncommon. It's not Suhauza, it's Nakauza because it's common. We say Suhauza when you are already there, or like Suhauza means at home. Okay, it's Nakauza.
Yeah, but Rabbit, Suhauza, that's a boom. It doesn't separate too.
It depends on the usage. Suhauza means it's the Suhauza. Okay. That's to house.
So, maybe like I said, it's
Listen,
been to
listen.
housing.
When you say it's
Other.
been to house, it means you are at home. The two is then we two
Yeah, that
house.
I'm talking about. I am at home.
I am at home. You have to use the second one. The at for the two is being two then house. To house, that's to house is the home. So if I'm saying
So, can you say that is my to housing? That is my home. Other.
that is my house, like don't be too complicated. That
That
is
is
my
my house.
house.
Yeah. Like,
Oh
can you
yeah,
the
I
sentence
get you. I get you.
that
That
is
is
to
my
housing?
house. That is my home. That is 100% correct. But I'm just saying that just don't try to complicate. Like stick to the normal. Because even the Germans they would prefer saying that is my house and shut. That's just my house. But that is my house is correct. Okay. So when you say it's been to house, the su here is for the preposition at home. Okay.
Okay,
Then
okay. Yeah.
but if we use the maybe
Mhm.
with this to house, you hardly even when someone is saying maybe the church is 3 kilometers away from my house. Okay, still my house, so not home.
Thank
Then this to
you.
house. Just stick to the to house. Okay. Next this. Okay. Saving that's to house. Next to house. It's that's to house. Yeah. Yeah, next to house. So the Suhause is for at home. Okay. Then that's Suhaus is the home. Okay, das war's. Dann Nummer zwei. We have W questions.
Mm.
So the W questions they also follow the same the structure in English. We say like same structure like the also different say statements. Okay. That means the verb is always fixed at the second position. Okay. Yep. Okay. So the flexibility with statements, sentences, which you can sometimes start with what adjective or the direct object. Place with W question. The only difference between the W question and the statement questions is that there isn't that flexibility with the W questions. It's fixed. What comes first is the W question. W question followed by followed by the verb. Okay, followed by, then the subject will come. Then what will be next? The
Subject.
objects.
Object.
Okay. So it's fixed. So in English, you say, what is he doing on Saturday? Maybe what is he saying to the boss? I don't want to use that here. What is he seeing? Yeah, so an example will be what are you buying tomorrow? So we have our W question here. But first we need to list them. What are our W questions? So we have what? Was.
Okay, that.
Versus what?
Who? Where?
Who?
Van.
Van.
Varu.
Varu.
There.
Varu. Varu.
Varu.
There. Who? There. Who?
There, down there. That is the most important one.
Very.
There. Who? Welche. Oh, welche. Welche, yeah. Then the last is
How?
Okay, then
V.
Blijf nog eens.
Yeah.
Ja, V. Dat is V. Dat is V.
Yeah.
V. How? Okay. Yeah. So these are the group. Yeah.
Yes, for those who know.
Soja no kobo akwana abesha wa yi dem dia bo base school ya so because I
That's the most important one.
Because if you know ver, you can use with ver, you can understand the cases easily. The accusative, the dative, and accusative, nominative, accusative. But like ver is the only one that changes in all cases. It's like ver she, but then with ver, like ver changes in all cases. If you know how to use ver, who, then you can, like it's easier to understand the cases. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Well,
The declination for vo. They all means where, but yeah. Yeah. So what are you buying? Okay. So we have our subjects, our W question, which is the rule says that is fixed at the first position. Okay. So danger root followed by what's the verb. Okay. The verb here is what? Verb is blau. Then subjects. Okay. Subject is subject is good enough. Yeah. And then buying is the main verb in English, but then the helping verb. Yeah.
Give me the ayana,
Ich benutze keine andere Farbe. Tut mir leid.
I say I think the
Yeah. Okay, so
yeah,
verse will be, so what is he by
yeah.
will be
What comes to Morgan?
was couched do more than, okay. So in this case, what's your subject?
The subject is you.
Subject is do.
You.
What's your verb?
You.
Yeah.
Your verb is
What's
powerful.
what's the is there direct objects?
But yeah,
What's the direct object?
what comes to Morgan? Now that direct object.
So
Because
direct
it's like
object
order.
is vas. Okay.
Okay.
Vas here is the
Okay.
direct object. What are you
Mm.
buying? English, like kitty kitty. You are buying what? You are buying what? So
Mm.
the thing is the thing you are buying is the, so the verse here
Okay.
is just like, yeah, like the real question preposition for the item. Okay. Yeah. So
Mm.
it's nominative answers the question verse order there, who or what. So if I'm saying the man is coming, who is coming? The man. If I'm saying the apple is spelled, what is spelled? The apple. Okay, so nominative, it answers the question what, was order there, who or what. Then with accusative, there is like callers, accusative. So accusative also answers the question what or who. Okay, was order, but here the who we got then. Okay, was order vein. Here the ver here, the ver here. Because if I'm saying so in accusative is when the who becomes what, the direct object. So I am seeing the man, I am the subject, I am the nominative. Okay, the man sees me, the man here is what, the subject, and what, I am the direct object. So here I see the man. Let me say I see the apple. So what do I see? The apple is first. Okay, then I see the man. Who do I see? The man. But the man here will be answering the question then, because who here, although it's still who, but I see who. So the who here is the direct object I am seeing. Or the verse here is also the
Yeah.
direct object I
Okay.
am seeing. Okay, so we say, what
Mm.
are you buying tomorrow? So who is doing the action? You are doing the action of buying, but you are buying
Mhm.
what? So here the what here is what, the thing I am buying is what is the accusative. Yeah, it's W question is so the verse unvelche, they are the ones that undergo declination when they used in nominative cases. That one we have missed our off person. Okay. I don't know if I'm making sense. So if I'm saying, so if I'm saying, which
Mhm.
man do you see? Which man do you see? You see which man? So in this case, the man will be what, Belgian man, because man is accusative, nominative here, like accusative here, because I see the man. But if someone is asking me, which man do you see? And our rule states that under accusative, masculine changes from there to they. Okay, so but Belgian man, these two, because I am seeing the man. But if you're asking me which man do I see, I am performing the action of seeing. So I am seeing something, or I'm seeing who. So in who in this case will be the version. But the way you're saying it, as if as a software I'm preach. Yeah, like do you get it? Yeah. So like if you
What
understand
control is
this,
valid.
is that like it can German, no one can, like
People,
there's yeah, there's no other, like there's no other better explanation I will be on outside than what I'm giving you right now. Like I understand sometimes you guys are like it's difficult knowing the direct object, especially when there's a direct object and the indirect object. But then here I'm telling you that with welche was that don't change, but welche ver changes. Okay. But then I just want you to know that when it's even what and there's something, there's something like there's a different now in the sentence performing the action, then the what we are talking about is the direct object. Okay. So was kaufst du morgen? Okay. So what are you buying tomorrow? So the here the thing what is the what the nominative, the accusative. Then here do is what the nominative is subjects. Nominative is subjects. Accusative is what the direct objects. Then the indirect object is what the dative case. Okay. Yeah, but in this sentence there's no dative, just an accusative and what a subject. Nominative and accusative. Yeah. So if I'm answering I am buying the apple will be what?
ich kaufe einen Apfel. Den Apfel.
So in this sentence, what are you buying? And what? Den Apfel. Okay. Your sentence you have right on. Yes. Yeah, den Apfel kaufe ich. So it's staying here because the what the what is what's the Apfel. Okay. So accusative. Masculine shape for masculine and the direct objects, the earth changes to den. So it's what? What are you buying? The apple I am buying. So the apple here is what? The direct object. But its vas will remain vas. It doesn't undergo any changes. But with welche, okay, with which and where undergoes change. Okay, an example will be who do you see? Okay, so the who here is conjugated, like yeah, with the direct objects. Okay, automatically the who, because I did not like why don't it remain the same? Because noita remains the same and what feminine remain the same and the accusative. So why don't we just keep the who as there to assume that is feminine? But then it's assumed that who somebody listen up who someone no one everyone they are all accusative. Okay, so everyone is what yeda in accusative, in nominative, in accusative is if I'm saying yeah, it will change to yeden. Okay, it's assumed that it's masculine. Okay, then if in dative we will say yedem. Okay, klar. No one will be but niemand in nominative. In accusative it was niemanden. So no one, everyone, who they are all assumed as they are masculine. Someone, okay, they are all assumed to be what masculine nouns. Okay, masculine like masculine, yeah, yeah. They are conjugated just like masculine. That's why in the accusative they change. Okay, yeah, and they always are conjugated using the third person singular, because if I'm asking who, the preposition to reply will be like he, she, it. Who, he is coming, she is coming. You can say who and say you are coming. Nah. Okay. Yeah. If I know it's you, I'll just say you. But then because I'm talking to you, okay. But then if I'm asking who, like who is coming, then you have he, she, it. Someone is coming. Who is coming? He, she, it. Okay. Yeah. So who do you see will be what?
Yeah, what I've been. She's due.
Give me an answer. Don't give me Intimate tumbo, when I'm introducing them, don't give me the answer. There's any who. I just explained this. So we want vein.
See, yeah, being 15.
When I say who, so who is seeing? I say who do you see? There here. It's always easy to know, like um okay, so yeah, so like it's always like here the you, the verb comes after what? You. Okay, which means you are the subjects. Yeah, that's another twist to it. So you, the verb, the verb comes after you, so you are performing the action. I'm saying in English, so it will help you to know like who is performing the action. So who do you see, Abigail? You see what? I see the man. So who? So the who is the direct object here. Okay, veins is two. But if I'm saying, if I'm asking, if I want to like if I'm if the when the who, if I want to use the who as the subjects, you know, asking who sees the man? Who sees the man? In this case, the see is performed by who? Who is performing the action in this sentence? Basically, the see comes after what? Who. So who is the what performing the action here? But here the verb comes after you, the person performing the action. So this one is what? There seats, and I said it's always conjugated at third person. So there seats, then the man here is what? The direct object. There seats den man. Elective elective maths, elective calculus. Okay, so in this sentence, what are you buying? Who's performing the action here? You, because the main verb, you, the buying, you are performing what? The action of buying. So the what is what? The direct objects. Okay, let's perform it. Other ones. Other ones will be for different sentence. With which, because with apart from ver, vas, and welche, although I am saying that vas don't change, but then it's good to know, because when you're replying questions with what and there's another object, then you know that the the reply to the question, the vas will have to be the reply to the vas what will have to be in the what, the accusative, if there is another subject. Okay, yeah, but with vu remains the same, van remains the same, doesn't change. Okay, varum doesn't change. You don't say varumen with a varumen, like it doesn't change. But then with velche, the one you have to pay attention to it, and with vas. Okay, so give me sentence with the big question.
Which school do you go to?
So, which school do you attend to go to? Yeah. So, which school do you go to? Obi?
The Welchen Schule.
The Schule
is 2.
So it will be welche Schule, because the which in this case is attached to what? A feminine. Okay, it's welche, not welchen.
The feminine in accusative will be
The feminine in accusative remains what? Yeah.
Yeah.
So welche
Yeah, it means
Schule.
that.
Mm-hmm.
This do.
We use besuchen for attend. Okay. Music gives to I guess
This do.
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
gives to like it's like that's basic job. That's like are you
But I don't worry, I thought you
like all these things? It can only come up when we like practice. Because I tell you for a fact, me personally, and you and I know. Okay, sometimes I learn whilst like random things. Okay, so like when it comes up, yeah, but just know that there's no way we are going to cover everything. Okay, so there are some things you have to discover for yourself. Okay, yeah. Welche Schule besucht, ja, du besuchst, ja, besuchst you. Okay, so in this sentence, the
yeah.
attend is the verb. The do and the are, they are not verbs. Okay, they are just helping verbs. That's why Germans, we don't use them. We use the main verb here, attend. Okay. Yeah. So welche Schule besuchst du? So here you are as the subject because the verb comes after what? You.
Yeah.
Right? So you by all the way in this, like so to know maybe which who um is the certain is it qualified. I just want to use the which school to be the subject. So
Which
you immediately
is some other or some other method.
yeah, but then you have to use passive. We haven't gotten there, so which school
is he going to?
no, is he going to? The is he going to? The going comes after he, so he the subject. Clear? Yeah. But I'm not saying that always think like as you think hours before forming sentence, but which one the subject coming after, but that's supposed to help you. Okay. Yeah, that was to make it easier, but then it doesn't mean that every time you have to think, in English, which one does it come after? Is the subject come after? That's class. That's fun finish. Okay. Yeah, but which school which school lost the game? Okay. So in what's the verb? Which word is the verb like? Which word precedes the verb?
No, the school.
Yeah, which school? So that means the which school is for in this sentence the subjects. Okay.
Yeah.
So welche Schule?
Schule.
Spiel.
Beispiel.
Beispiel.
Verloren.
Verloren.
Yeah. Yeah. Klar. So in this sentence, the game is what? The direct object, and what? The which school is the what? The main subject, because the lost comes after what? The which school.
Okay.
Klar? Yeah. But that also helps you to klar. Das war's. So when are you coming? Yeah, so there. When are you coming? When are you now? When is the meeting starting? The meeting is taking place, yeah? Taking place. Okay. So subject verb. Macro one. So one.
Wann? findet,
Mhm.
wann findet den Treffen statt?
Das Meeting statt.
Wann finden den Treffen, oder?
And a
Das,
key.
das Meeting statt.
Wann findet das Treffen?
Okay.
Treffen ja da.
Okay. Now, even if it's masculine, it's the treffen here is the object. Van, I said van. Van, it has no case. The rest, I said only what masculine, only what welche,
Oh,
there, on what vas. They have what cases.
that's good.
They follow the nominative, the accusative, and the dative. Okay, but with van varum, they are not taking any case. So here, the taking place, okay, the taking is comes after what? The meeting, which means the meeting is what the subject. Okay, so the van, the who, you say, where do you come from? So the you come, okay, so you are the subject. The van, who is Anders, like they don't follow any case. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah, so wann findet das Treffen statt? So if it was to be one is the let's all make a sentence and yeah. But yeah, klar?
Ja, klar.
Yeah. So stattfinden, those who don't know, I said stattfinden. I always when we are talking about events taking place, like something happening, not by we are talking about events. Like we use stattfinden, okay? Stattfinden is separable. Stattfinden means like to take place or to happen.
Mm,
And they are used for what event, something taking place, okay? Maybe the party is taking place at it could be what the place or what the time, okay? Van or vo, okay? Yeah. Done.
mm.
Let's use phi. So you can see that here after the W question, what comes after? It follows what? The verb. Okay.
The verb, yeah.
Always which school, okay, do you, I said the do is not what the main verb. The main verb is always okay in German, but in English the helping verb do is a helping verb, just like is. Okay, that's why it's like it's in that order. But German, we prefer to go straight to, we hit the nail right on. Okay, yeah, we hit it right on the nail. We don't use those helping verb. We ignore the do or is. We always use what the main verb in the sentence. Okay, so the main verb in this sentence is attend. So welche Schule besuchst? Right after the W question. Right after the W question, we go straight to what our subject. The welche, the Schule here is attached to what? Welche, which school? Which school? So normally with welche and with how is always used with adjectives, and which is always used as what nouns. Okay, like which man, which organization, which okay, then how is always used with adjective. How big, how small is the man? How old are you? How smart? Okay, how is always used with adjective. So like the adjective will stick to the how. So an example will be what? How much does it cost? Okay. So in this sentence, how much does it cost? The much is attached to the how. Okay. Yeah. So the what? We feel costed. Yes. Klar. So welche on V. Yeah, welche is with nouns. You can say which smarts. when you use it that way, even when you have to use an adjective afterwards, the verb shape, and now must follow to you. Which smart boy said that? Which crazy man? Okay, so like verb shape is always what with nouns, pronouns. Okay, then V is always accompanied by what? Adjectives. Clear?
Yeah.
So right after the W question, the verb comes, then the subjects. The W questions is fixed right after the verb, the subject, just like any of the rest, any of the other structures. Right after the verb and the subject, you can't do away with the verb and subject. Okay, you always want to accompany each other. Clear? Yeah, that's was und the dritte.
But as a vino after no after
No. When I'm listen, I know what you're going to
say.
say. Yeah. So like, I'm not saying that it's compulsory for you to always, unless like, I'm just saying that we with the V, we always attach it to an adjective when we want to know something. But if I'm saying, how did you come here? There's no adjective in this sentence.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Or like, how are you traveling? How how what how maybe how did he
Did you
say
do
it? How did he like how does one do that? How does one do that? Okay, in this case it's not a title but any adjective. Okay, so we just after your V then the main verb will come. So how did you come here? Okay, so we have V there. V
has
V comes to here. How did you come here?
It's
Okay.
past did.
Common movement.
V is to
common.
Hey, you're writing here instead of do know.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, the comment.
Yeah. I said when you're thinking about going towards a place, you say hair common. Okay, that's where you could put hair comes to. Okay, so hair common. So the hair get common, then the here will be attached to what? Here hair get common. But yeah. When you're using the hair common plus the here, then you have to write it together. But if you want to say yeah, without the hair common and you just use the normal common, but V is to here the common. The here will be added to the common. Clear? Clear? But like I'm saying, high German is here the common. You see, Google is telling me to use here the common. The here is here the common. Yeah. So then you add your here. If you have to use here, then grip is to here have the common. I'm a confused rich love. So the main verb, okay? The verb is so I mean will be I know so hair coming, okay? The main verb, the verb itself is hair coming, okay? Hair coming and so going towards a place is what hin gehen. Okay, but then we can say how do they I am coming here. I am coming, like when I'm just saying I am coming there. Okay. We use I'm going there. They say I am coming from what? It doesn't make sense.
But you can say I'm coming there.
Yeah. But when you say I am coming there, we will just say it's here daughter. Germans would prefer to say I am going there instead of saying I am coming. We say I am coming here to come here. Not necessarily it could be here or there. Okay. Then hingehen is to go there. to come to go here, like just to go there. Yeah.
And I
Like it
ain't
doesn't
coming
follow.
with it.
We don't use hint common. You don't use hint common. Like you can
Uncommon,
say
I use
no.
uncommon.
Listen,
How
listen,
will you
listen,
get there?
listen. We like I'm saying a good like German so how will you go hin for him is towards a place, okay, so which like is common hin like in the normal German like the actual like Germans wouldn't say that, okay, like what's a metro say hair comment to come here or to go there, okay, so like even you can say to go there, but then when you're saying to go there we use the him comment, but to come there we prefer the hair comment instead of saying him coming, because if you are going towards a place, you say I am going towards a place, I am coming from a place. That's why I say woher, from where do you come from? We don't say from where, we only say from, like to where are you, like to where means you are going towards a place, not coming towards a place. You see, do you get it? When you say him coming, you are saying you are coming towards a place, like yeah, like he's coming here, like he's coming here towards us, but Germans don't say coming, he's going towards us, like him come, him game. It doesn't follow any any sensible rule, but just remember him game. If you're saying I'm going to the, you won't say I am coming to the, unless maybe you're talking to the person, you say I am coming there, okay, but then we still use him game towards the place, and her common is you're coming from. Oh, yeah. You want to say recent tense yeah. Okay. We are coming from, but basically when you're forming the sentence, maybe I am coming from the church. Like you won't necessarily say that, you won't necessarily use the hair comment. You just use the basic comment, okay. But then if I'm asking you, where are you coming from? Like from where? From where? Like just like where comes to. From where are you coming from? You got like where? Okay, the hair will go to the where comments instead of the vo comes do, like vo hair comes, like vo hair, like it doesn't make sense, like like vo comes do hair. Yeah, that's Maxson because it's a problem. Yeah, vo hair comes to, where are you coming from? And vohin gets to, where are you going towards? Like vohin, where are you going to? Then voher, where are you coming from? Yeah, basically that's. So how did we get here? Verb is to hear, her, a comment. Like just, I mean, that's how I learned it. It doesn't follow any sensible, like you can't correlate it to anything, like, because when you try to correlate it to English, it doesn't make sense. Because in English you can use I am coming there and I'm going there. You can use like going towards there and coming towards there. But in German, when we say when you want to say you are going towards there, we will be like we only going towards there is applicable hingehen, and only coming from the place is applicable her coming. We can say it's gay, it's coming him, it's coming him, I'm coming to you. You would just say it's coming to the let's say it's coming to the him. Yeah, you don't use it like that. The maximums. How does one? The maximums. Okay, so we are coming from. So even we are coming from the place. We won't use the hair comment. The only time you have to like you use the hair comment. It's when you always like without indicating the place. Okay. Without indicating the place in the sense in the like how did you come here? Okay, the place wasn't actually mentioned. Okay, so vape is do the here is here. Then we use come here. And then you have to use the here comment. Okay, then so if I'm asking how did you go there? How did you go there, Obi? Hmm? How did you go there, Obi?
Let me try. Okay. Vi bist du hingegangen?
Gegangen.
Gegangen.
Yeah. Wie
Ay,
bist
na
du
may bisa sa. Aha. Hindi,
gegangen? Yeah. Klar.
Ay.
Yeah, ask the question.
Oh, I forgot my question. Oh, I wanted to ask something. It's about this or not. But I forgot it. When I remember, I'll ask you. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Riff.
But I'm just saying that where in German, English, you can say I'm coming there or I'm going there. But in German, we don't use this common hin. Like it's not common. Probably maybe a dialect. Okay, maybe some regions may be using it. But I'm just saying we have different type of German. We have the Plateau Deutsch and the Hochdeutsch, like different German. But to survive in Germany, you need the Hochdeutsch. Okay, with the Hochdeutsch is High German. So even if they speak dialects, they will understand you because yours is the standard German. Klar. Yeah. So I'm just saying with the High German.
You finished and then I'll ask the question. I think I've remembered.
You say you've forgotten, but I'm
I
just
said
saying that
I've
with the High.
remembered.
Yeah, with the High German, we have hingehen and herkommen, and when we say we are going towards a place, we use hingehen. Ich gehe hin. Okay, but then if like in English, the only time you have to say I am coming there is when like the person you're talking to is already there. So you just I am coming to you. Germans will say I am coming to you instead of saying I am coming there to you. Nah, you get ich komme zu dir. You don't say ich komme zu dir hin. We don't use the hin coming with. We don't use the hin with coming. We use the hin with gehen. That's the emphasis that I'm making. Okay, just understand it that way. Hair is from where. Okay, then okay, all of a sudden you're giving feedback. All of a sudden. If you phone us answer, then yeah, simple as that. So then when you are not when you don't mention the place, I am going to the when I'm saying I am going to the church. Okay, it's gehe zu or indication. There's no need for you to add the hin. The only hair coming and the hair coming and the hingehen is when we only use it when the play like we don't mention the place. Okay. So in this sentence, how did you come here? Wie bist du hier gekommen? So I use the herkommen because the place wasn't mentioned. How did you go there? Wie bist du hingegangen? How do you go towards the hingehen? Okay. But then if I have to mention the place, I'm going to say wie bist du in die Kirche gegangen, hingegangen? No. I will just say wie bist du in die Kirche gegangen without using him. Okay. Because the two plus the church, like it's already indicated the to church. Okay, the indi here means like towards the church has been already indicated, but the hin is added to the going to say we are going hin. We are going hin means towards. Okay, yeah, klar. Then here means from where there. Yeah, Charlie, there's no better way I can explain why. Yeah, just remember it's Hindi and Hindi comment. And we only use these two when the place, like you don't mention the place. But if you mention the place, you do away with the prefix hair and the prefix Hindi. Klar? Klar? Yeah, let's love now your question. Let's love your question.
Okay. It's fine. You've answered it.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so that's vast minutes. W questions. Then the next one is the yes or no question. Yeah. So yes or no questions. They're not difficult, but when you compare it to English, it's kind of complicated. It's a little bit complicated, but the not yet complicated is the helping verbs in English. But always remember that in German we don't use helping verbs. Okay, yes or no questions. So in English, these are used with like helping verbs. Or do. That's in German, we ignore the H for helping verbs and do. If there is a name in the sentence. Okay. So if there is any other verb aside do and is or are, then we don't use is or do. We just use the main verb. So I'm saying there's like basically just like the statement says, maybe I am coming to the party. So in this sentence, we have I, then am as a helping verb, then the main verb is coming. Okay, you won't say it's been coming to a party. No, in German, we ignore helping verbs like do and this or are. We just hit the nail on the coffin, go straight to the main verb. So it's coming. I'm coming is common, but the other side is that in English you can either say I am coming or I come. You can say he is coming or he comes. So like we in English, they have we have two options, but in German we prefer to use the simple one. He comes, he comes instead of he is coming. Okay, yeah. So in English it'll be he eats on Monday. He is eating on Monday. He's coming on Monday. He comes on Monday. Okay, so we have two options: either to use the helping verb plus what the main verb, or just hit the nail on the coffin, just like in German. He comes there. In German, so we prefer to use the second version. We don't use any helping verb. So here comes. Here comes am Montag, not here is am Montag kommen. In that case, okay, we don't use helping verb do and he, she, it. So do and what is or are if there are other verbs in the sentence. Okay, the other verb will be the main verb. For example, is yes or no question. Yeah, are you farming on Sunday? So normally it's yes or no. Okay, yes or no question. So how do you form this? So the rule states that we do away with the helping verb. So Anake. So in this sentence we have a helping verb. Okay, and we have what do we have? We have what's coming as what the main verb. So German, we just stick to what's the main verb coming. So our rule says that we start the verb starts with yes or no question. Verb comes followed by what? The subject. Then followed by what? Verb subject. Then if they are all, if there's an object, verb, subject, object, then others. Okay. Yeah. So that's the unlike the W questions and the statements, sentences that we have to start the subject, the verbs in the second position. With the W, with the yes or no questions, the verb is always what at the beginning. Okay. Yeah. So our rule says that we should ignore the R and go straight to what the main verb, which is what's coming. So who is coming? The coming comes after you. So you are the subject. And he has already said about. I'm just saying. Yeah. So what's please perform that in view. So what's the common and do is what ST. So comes do what Zontag. Like so double N. Klar. So you want to say bist du am Sonntag kommen. Ignore what's the helping verb. So which do what do you eat on maybe in the afternoon? In the afternoon. Do you eat in the afternoon? Do you take lunch in the afternoon? Do you take lunch or basically do you eat in the afternoon? Really? So here our rule says that we have to, like basically not even with yes or no. Like in German, we don't use do, he, she, a, they, or but I sorry. We don't use do, s or are. Okay, we just always use the sentence. We always go straight to the main verb of the sentence. So do you eat in the afternoon? But the main verb here is what? Eat, and the subject is you. So the what?
Please do am Nachmittag.
Ist am Nachmittag. Simple. Klar. So the only time we use our do, even do, the only time we use the s or r is when they stand alone. We use the helping verb in the sentence. It's when they stand alone. Example is you tired. So in this case, is there any other verb in the sentence? What's the main verb in this sentence?
Really?
Send him to Nesri.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tired here is an adjective. Tired is an adjective, not a verb. So the main verb is what are. There's no other verb in this sentence. Then you have to use what? The helping verb as the main verb. Okay. So are you? But these two. You umlaut. Okay. So I guess that's this. Is he your father? Okay. So, what's your verb in this sentence?
Is.
That means there's no other verb. We only have the helping verb is, and there's no other verb. Then we have to use what? The helping verb. So it's what is.
You. Deinen Vater. Dein Vater. Okay.
Yeah. So Rislav is dein Vater and not dining because although so we said before you can get an accusative. Okay, accusative case is when we have what an object in the sentence. We have a subject and what an object. But then when the subject is still the direct object in the sentence, then it's still used as what? It's still nominative
form.
So I want to say I am a doctor. I won't say ich bin einen Arzt. No, because I am the same doctor. But if I'm saying I see you, I am the subject. I am seeing you with a different entity. You are not me. So then you be what the direct object in accusative. But then if I'm saying I I will become a pilot. I will become a pilot. The pilot will still what be me. So not ich werde einen Pilot. Dann ich werde Pilot. In the normal sense, it's like saying ich werde ein Pilot. Ich bin ein Arzt oder ich bin Arzt. Klar? Yeah. So we only use the accusative is only applicable when the subjects and the objects, the direct objects, are different entities. So I am buying a pen. I am buying what the direct object is a pen because the pen will be the accusative case because the pen is different from me. I am not the pen. I cannot be a pen, and a pen cannot be me. Unless a few of them, then they tell me to I am buying an egg. I'm different from the egg. But if the Africans, your Farsi and the Mananon comes in there, then they can turn me to the egg. Yeah, klar. Yeah, so. So that's with the yes or no questions. So we only use the helping verb when they stand alone in the sentence. There are no other verbs in the sentence. Klar? Yeah. Done? Yeah, that's fast. That's with yes or no questions. So with yes or no questions, always the verb in German, the verb stays at the first position. First position. The same thing for command. Did I say the fourth one is command? Yeah, command sentences. Yeah. Command sentences. So the fourth structure is command sentences. So what's the another name for command sentences in German? We've done this.
Imperative. Imperative.
Yeah, imperative or imperative. Imperative. Yeah, imperative steps. So an example is here. An order. Eat the food. Sing the song. So yeah. So in German, who can you give an order to? According to the pronouns in German, which pronoun can you give an order to? Can you give an order to ish? Can you give an order to ish?
No.
You cannot give an order to ish. Okay, but why all of a sudden? Like why? Because initially at the start of the class you weren't giving feedback. Are you using it?
But minimum dia phone down
Okay, clear. So you can't give an order to yourself. So you can't give an order to ish. As I said, the next pronoun is do. Can I give an order to you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so do is applicable, okay? Can I give an order to us?
Nine.
9. You can only say we are doing this on Monday. You can say we are doing this on Monday. That's Max said. That's clear. So the next one is he, she, it. Can you give an order to he, she, or it?
Oh yeah, boy, yeah, you can give that.
Yeah.
No, like directly. No.
The boy.
No, like mute. when I'm giving an order to he, she, it's a he, she, or I'm talking to he, she, or it directly. So it's you. I don't say he is going to eat it in the morning. That's one, like but I have to tell you, you are going to eat it in the morning. But he is the person is not there. So how is it an order? Okay.
So I think
So
it's you and then you guys.
yeah, super. Won't you format because we have another unit and that's what the Z. Okay. Yeah. So these are the only pronouns you can give an order to. So that's the conjugation for the do form in German with verbs, whether regular or irregular. It ends with what? ST.
ST.
Okay. You do away with your verb stem, the root of the sentence. The verb. We do away with the root water. Oh God.
Water break, please.
But ada also every movie.
You see that? Yeah. Then with ear, that's what you add your T. Then with Z, back to the main verb stem. Okay. So our rule states that with normal yeah, with do form, if I'm giving an order to you, you should do away with what? My next question: is it breakage? Is it breaking?
Nah.
Can you hear me? Okay. On my screen.
Yeah.
I'm doing this intentionally. I beg. I'm moving on. Okay. So yeah. So our rule says that when we are giving an order for the do form, okay, with the do form, we do do away with the ST. Okay. Do away with the ST and just mention the verb stem. So basically you are going back to the verb stem. So if it was common, it was common and for the do form it became const. Cancel the ST, which will be what? Come here. So come here, but come here. Okay. Then for yes, yes. Yes, yes, you maintain the form. You don't do away with this. The T remains. So it's ear points, okay? Ear points. So if I'm giving an order to you guys, you what comes here. Okay. Yeah, don't act like you haven't taught this. I've taught this. Okay. Then for the Z form, it remains the same too. So if I'm telling Hermula to come, Hermula, come here. Hermula, not common C here. And even with that one, I have to add better. Okay. To be more polite. Okay. Clear. Okay, so with the do form, the complication. Yeah, only the do form is complicated. So with regular verbs, it's simple. You just remove the ST. Okay, remove the ST. So go back to the verb stem. Okay, you do away with the root en, left with the part, the verb stem. You just mentioned it. But for irregular verbs, that's when everything changes. But even with the irregular verbs, if it doesn't end with dt, nm, and what's dt, nm, some cases with l, okay, because if I'm telling you to pick the bag up, or like get the shelf badge, hold then shelf. I won't say hold it then shelf, but if I'm asking you to repeat what you are saying, I would say vida holy s. Okay, so it depends. Even with when it's DT and when it's DT, D and T is fixed. Okay, with D and T, you have to bring what an E before what after the verb stem. So if you, for example, is bath. If I'm asking you to bath, bath is what pardon, yeah. When you take away the en, you are left with what's bad. And our rule with DTNM says that you can't just say bad so forth, bath immediately. If I'm giving an order, bath immediately, bath immediately. I can't just say bad so forth. I say bad so forth. Okay, our rule says that with DTNM, you add E. Okay, you add E. So I'm writing bath immediately. What's bad so forth? Okay, because it ends with what? D and T, but with M and M not fixed. There is with M and N endings. M and N endings are specific to verbs, but we have vonen. We don't say duvonest, we say duvonst. So the N and M doesn't follow, like it doesn't follow the rule that before after the verb stem. If our verb stem ends with M and N, we have to add an E, like so it's only specific to some verbs, okay? But when you say atmen, often, okay, often, you have to add an E, so you do oftenest, not do oft. It's difficult to pronounce it, okay? But vonen, because of the empty, the O, the empty H, and N, ST is simple. But with often, when you move the E and you got O, umlaut FFN. You can't just add S to ST to it to say do off. It's difficult to off. So then you bring an E. Atmen is to breathe. Okay, ATMEN. When you move your EN, it's what ATM. Let's come Madrid. You can't say do at. You are breathing there. Do at is difficult. So you bring back an E. So with the endings for the N and M, it really depends on the pronunciation, how easy it is to pronounce what the verb. So it depends on that. If the verb is easy to pronounce without adding an E, then we don't add it. But then if when it's difficult, then we add it. Okay. But with the D and T, it's fixed. Whether it's easier, it can never be easy with the T and M. Okay. As in the baddest. Okay, the baddest is line fact, but then it's the baddest in the morning. You are the baddest morning. You are bathing tomorrow. Okay, but if I'm giving an order, remove the AN. But if it ends with what? The verb stem ends with what? D, T, and M. But with D and T is fixed. Okay, what? Bad support, not bad support. Okay, bad support. Okay, yeah. So on the Latin verbs too. With the Latin verbs for do. What example is what? Organisieren. Okay, so we do away. Do what? If I'm saying you are organizing the party, we have to do organisires. Okay, do organisires. Sorry, do away with en. The en goes away. Then you add your st to it. Do organisires the party. Okay. But if I'm giving an order, organize the party, then we just add e to remove our e and then add e to what's the verb stem. So organisiere. Okay. The party. Hello? Hello? Now, if I'm giving it to you guys, follow the normality, organisiert the party, you guys. Then Herr Müller, you are organizing the party, organisieren Sie die Party. Wow, so that was more. Klar?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, so with statements and W questions, the verbs are always what at the second positions. But with statements, there is flexibility. You can either start the sentence with the direct objects, the adverbs, okay? But remember that the verb still stays at the second position, and immediately after the verb, the subject must follow. Okay, that's with statements. With W questions is fixed. Right after the W question, your verb must come. It's fixed at the second position. Clear? Just like the statements. It's fixed at the second position. And you can't, the flexibility with in statement questions that you can start sentences with adverbs and with W questions. You can't do that. You can't always, the W question is fixed at the first position of the sentence, okay? And I said that always pay attention to, so the W questions, they are 7, but with ver, was, even like was coded, like with ver and welche, the two of them, you have to pay attention to them, because even though they are starting the sentence, sometimes they are the direct objects, so you have to pay attention to the cases. If they are the direct objects, like the which or who, the person, or this direct object, then you have to be in the accusative form. But then if there is another object performing the action, then you know that they are the subject, and still the W, the welche on the there will be what will be the direct objects. And I gave you guys a tip that with the W question with welche and there, it's easier to know, because if I'm saying like after the W question, if the main verb comes after the W question, then it means that the ver or the welche is the subject. But if the verb comes after a different subject in the sentence, then maybe who do you see? So the see is the main verb here. We don't use do in German. Who do you see? So you see. So you are seeing who. So the who will be what? The direct object, because you are performing the action of seeing. So it will be wen siehst du. Klar? But if it's who sees you? Who sees you? Who is seeing you? It means that the who here, the person is rather seeing you, so you are the direct object, so the who will be what? The subject. Okay, you must pay attention to that. Clear. But they added the warum, the van, they don't undergo declination, they are fixed at the first position. Okay, and V is always, not always, but like 90% of the time used with what? Adjectives, unless we want to know a particular way something is done, a particular way, but basically a particular way something is done. That's why we don't use any adjectives with V, but welche is always accompanied by a noun. But you can see which, you have to use a noun, which friend, which car, which, yeah, blah, blah. So it's in those cases you have to pay attention. If the which school is if the verb is after the main verb, not the helping verb, if the main verb is coming after the which or whatever, like which or, then you know that the which is towards the subject. But if the main verb, if the which is followed by a helping verb and not immediately with the main verb, like in English, but another subject comes, then the other verb, the main verb comes after the subject, then the other object mentioned or the now mentioned is about the subject, then immediately you know that's the W question, which will be what? The direct object. I'll tell you. We'll continue. Okay, so tomorrow I'll go deep into the cases, okay? The nominative, accusative, but please just remember, like I said, The only way you can get better when you are forming a sentence, you use the orders with statement, try to form it on your own. And the words that you don't know, you replace them with the English word. Then later in the sentence, where they are to be in the sentence, okay, you place it there. Then when you have time, make time, okay, discipline, okay, then check it after it. You look for the word that you couldn't come up with in German, then you place it in the sentence. You have your full German sentence, okay? Yeah, don't be like, I don't know, so I won't form the sentence. Form the sentence, okay? Speak the broken German in your head, but make sure that you are following these rules with statement, subject, verb, object. If you start the subject, like, okay, so like this makes it simple. Okay, if you know these structures, you should be able to form any sentence in German because they are no other. These are the only 4 sentences we make in our daily lives. Different sense structures. We always use these structures. Okay, yeah. So you should know that with statements, fixed verb, second position, W question, fixed verb, second position, yes or no, and command. The verb always comes in the first position. Okay, yeah. But the imperative form of the command, that's like another like a topic on its own. We just know that the verb is coming, but then the endings of the verb and that like depends on what the do form is a bit complicated, okay, but then basically I just went over it and you just have to practice, okay. That's fast. Tomorrow we'll continue with the tomorrow we'll continue with so we continue with the cases, okay. So mascots, if you are not like I've made like this whole week, we completed chapter 9 this week and we've had more time. I haven't started chapter 10, so please use this probably tomorrow to even start with chapter 10. We'll start chapter 10 on Monday, okay, but don't worry, we'll still complete A2 before the end of December, then B1 early January, okay. So please better review the previous lessons. If you haven't visited any, like if you have a backlog, review it before we continue, because these things that I'm going over them with the sentence structure, the cases that I will go over tomorrow, I won't mention that if I'm to use it in the class, you are sticking to, like, I won't give any revision. Okay, that's why I asked you type your questions in the group of like problems, write them in the group of no one did. So probably I'm assuming that you understand everything so far and what I'm teaching you. Yeah, you're going to build on that. And yeah. You know everything. So Charlie, you commit tomorrow, okay? Choose mascots.